Wanna be.
Ooh, you gonna give everybody them singing?
Dulcet tones of the Darman.
Those are definitely words, yeah.
Dulcet tones. Yes. So we are a little bit late. If you were waiting on us, you're still not here, so you couldn't have been waiting on us.
Right.
Because you didn't beat us here.
You mean they weren't logged in to watch us before we were broadcasting?
No, when we started broadcasting, there wasn't already people waiting. Because there wasn't any numbers there. So we were still here waiting on them. That's how it worked. Hit some buttons, share it out.
I'm already doing all that.
Get it out there and piss off some groups because you're sharing too.
I don't do that no more.
All right.
Mostly. A couple of them I just enjoy. Never mind.
All right, you know. And I will keep them busy talking about, what? 2 years ago today, according to my Facebook timeline, is when I found out I was going to be a grandma.
Did you? I hadn't even found that out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we found out about Tori. She's a little girl, so I'm a grandma, right?
That's not how that works.
So anyway, we found out about her 2 years ago today.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I had seen that come across.
That was the reveal. So anyway, see, that's how you make it anecdotal and humorous.
It is humorous.
Humorous, yeah. So
I think
he's still hitting some buttons, so I'm just talking.
I'm about done with the buttons.
Yeah. So we're about ready to get rolling. So
we got 6 people in there. We even got a Josh French watching us.
We got a Josh French. Yes, we do. Hey, it's back to showing the stuff up here again.
Yeah, sometimes. Facebook probably had another update. They changed it all again.
All right, so we're going to get rolling as Alan finishes up hitting them buttons and stuff. Welcome
about
again, oh great guildies and guildettes, to another fantastic hour or so, give or take, you know.
In that area.
Of all you need to know about tabletop gaming here in the largest city of Wright County, Missouri.
100%
My co-host, Alan.
That's me.
Rumored to be my son. And I, rumored to be awesome.
Don't listen to rumors.
Are here to guide you through the peaceful destination that is tabletop. We mainly scrape up content on Magic the Gathering as it feeds the news beast the most often, and that's what news places do.
Yeah, that's right.
But you might be surprised to know that we throw out more than a few nuggets of knowledge on other things. I don't know if we have any tonight, but if we come up with them.
If I come up with any, I'll get them out there.
Keep your eyes focused on that screen and your ears peeled to the sweet, sweet sound, dulcet tones of our voices, if you missed that in the pre-show.
Yeah, you can hear him singing.
You might be surprised at what tidbits you walk away with this week. So we did just wrap up some Commander, like we always do on Thursday nights.
Always on Thursday.
Run them all out, but not set up to bring you this very special episode.
We had a couple
of Chatter the Squirrels, number 79. Yes, this is 79 times we've done this.
Yeah.
Hey, neat.
It is neat. It's awesome. But yeah, we had 2 full pods running in Commander.
Yep. We sure did.
Had one of them big old long slugfest games, you know.
We did. We did at that. And was it Marcus won ours?
Yep.
I don't know who won the other. Oh, they had to.
They may have had a couple games.
They were in their second game and ran out of time. Yeah. So anyway, tomorrow night we're going to do a Core 2021 draft right here in the store.
Cool.
$15. Come on out. Win a round, win a pack.
Maybe about your last shot at Core 21 too.
We're getting really close. There might be one in September. We'll see.
We'll have Zendikar.
But you want to be sure to get that because Zendikar Rising's coming, and we'll be drafting that in a month. So, and then on Saturday night we're doing another draft. So it's a big draft weekend for us. We're going to do mystery boosters again. Trying to put one of those on each month until I run out of product. I still got a few boxes left.
They're awesome drafts, guys. Mystery boosters are the most fun I've had drafting in a long time.
That will be at 6 p.m. and it will be $30 on Saturday. It is 7 o'clock tomorrow night for Friday Magic. So anyway, and then next week we're going to do Pioneer on Friday. And Saturday we start week 1 of our back-to-back board game Saturday nights.
Yeah, Yeah, we have back-to-back. That's right.
Back-to-back.
We have one at the end of August, one to start September.
Yeah, and we already had one this month, so we're doubling up this month, and we're doing 2 back-to-back. So if you like board games, where you at?
We may have to bust down and bring out the big box now that we got it picked up from you. It came in. We may want to see if people want
Carcassonne.
Uh-huh.
He's talking about Carcassonne. We bought the big box.
The big box. 11 expansions.
Had to take that home.
11 expansions for Carcassonne, so there's a lot of tiles.
Delay. All right. As of this time, today, August 20th, 2020, Central Time Zone. You've got about 2 days left to get your order in for the 10th anniversary shirts.
They look good.
I did extend it through the weekend, so you need to let me know by the time I close up Saturday, because Monday morning the order's going in.
And what's the price on one of those shirts?
$25.
$25.
If you need 3 extra bigger, we're going to add $2.
Right.
And if you're getting a child size, I'm going to knock a couple bucks off. I'm just going to do that.
That's just fair. It don't take as much fabric.
Well, they're going to cost me the same, but I'm going to knock a couple bucks off. So keep in mind that the week of September 9th through the 12th, September 9th through 12th, that's when we're celebrating our 10th anniversary. Technically on the 10th, that'll make 10 years.
Celebrate good times. Can I sing? I don't know.
Who sings that?
Casey and the Sunshine Gang? No. Oh, I was wrong. I'm close.
Man, I thought I did a better job raising you.
They sing that other one.
They do sing other songs. Yes.
Very similar style of music, though. Who does sing it, though? It's
Kool and the Gang.
Kool and the Gang. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't teach him right.
I had the gang part, but I started with the wrong beginning. Yeah. I said gang. Yeah.
KC and the Sunshine Band has no gang in it.
No, but I said gang. That's what I was saying. I knew I had things wrong, but...
Moving along.
Fine, Bill.
Since our actual anniversary falls on a Thursday, we'll be bringing you a very, very special...
Very, very special.
...episode of Chatter the Squirrels.
Anniversary edition.
The anniversary edition. On that Thursday. So you don't want to miss that one. There's no telling what we might be doing.
Who knows?
What are we doing?
I don't know.
We do anything special?
Yeah, all kinds
Just
of
a regular deal? No, it's special. Oh, it's special.
We should find something to open.
We should find something to open. We might. We're going to have sales that week. I'll be posting that up a little later. I've been kind of fine-tuning. I'm trying to make it simple, to be honest. I've already announced that if you buy Magic singles, $10 and over are going to be buy one, get one.
Yes.
Already announced that.
Good deal, guys.
That's already announcing. I'll go ahead and tell you that 10% off everything else in the store. And there may be a couple other things. But it's my 10th anniversary, so
10.
And I normally don't knock anything off of supplies and dice and stuff like that.
Right.
10% off everything.
10% off.
Yeah.
This is your chance to come grab some metal dice, guys. I keep talking myself out of it. But.
Shirts will come in that week. I'll also have some face masks coming in that week. If you like to wear some with Grove Gamers Guild on them, if you have to wear them at work. As long as we're not having to wear them here, you might have to wear them here. We'll see. And then I still have the window decals that I'm selling. And we're going to do our invitational draft on the 12th. So I do have 14 of the 16 slots filled. If I can find 2 more folks to get in there for that.
Yeah,
and even if you're not invited, come on out and watch.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be
hang out.
I'm sure that
get some tunes going. We'll have a good time.
I'm sure some people will play some other games, possibly hanging around.
Yeah,
like it was a game store.
Yeah, like this was a game store. Let's talk a little bit about fun in Commander.
Fun in Commander.
What did we talk about? Commander stuff. We talked. Oh, the CEDH stuff.
We talked about the CEDH stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so let's not forget that CEDH is fun for the people who love to play CEDH. And the way that you find out if you've wandered into that kind of herd is by asking. So the important thing is to have a conversation if you're in a new group, or maybe even if you're in a regular group. We don't do it enough.
We do not. That's something I...
But find out what everybody's expectations is. You can go by power level, but I can tell you right now, everybody's going to judge their power level differently.
Right. You cannot judge the power level of your own decks. You just can't do it.
Oh, this is a 6. Oh my God, that was an 8. You know?
Somebody else has a much better chance of actually gauging the power level of your deck than you do.
So it's much better to talk about maybe less quantifiable things in a way, in that, you know, some people sit down and I like to be the last wizard standing, but not everybody wants to do that. Some people have a deck that's built just to have a good time. They just want to do a certain combo. It may not even win the game, just a certain, they want synergy of their deck. They built an elf deck, they want to get a lot of elves out, or they've got a combo, or whatever it might be.
Right.
So have that conversation, you know. Part of the conversation might include, how long do you think a game should last? I personally like a game that lasts 60 to 90 minutes.
Right.
I like us to get to 10 turns or more. After about 10 turns, I think about anything can happen to end that game. That doesn't mean I want you ramping out and then holding all the stuff to kill me for 6 turns.
Right.
That's not the kind of game I want to play.
Right.
But that's kind of the game I want to play most of the time.
The thing if we're talking specifically about fun and Commander, the thing that you have to remember, which is hard for people, because you're used to a lot of time, Magic has trained us very well in a more competitive spirit. Most of it is one-on-one playing, where your fun is in the competition. You want to do the thing with your deck. But in a game of Commander, when you sit down with other people, you have taken on the responsibility of your opponent's fun. Not just your own anymore, as in a duel of Magic. You've taken on the responsibility to help ensure they have fun. And that is hard at times. Sometimes it means you make a decision you wouldn't make in another kind of game of Magic at times.
You might play suboptimally once in a while, but it is not my goal to have you play suboptimally.
No, but there are times when things get out of hand and you don't realize it, or something happens. It's not a horrible thing. I've seen people do it before. I may have done it before to destroy one of your own permanents, perhaps, if it's just making a bad board state for the table.
A bad board state, yeah.
For the entire, if you are ruining everyone else's fun, stop it. You know.
Something I've got some decks that do that I'm trying to get away from, and that is decks that have a lot going on. And what I mean by a lot going on is that my turn takes 10 minutes.
Right.
Well, if everybody's turn takes 10 minutes, that's 40-minute rounds if you've got 4 people playing.
Yeah, 40 minutes to get around the board.
That's crazy. So I'm going to read you the Commander philosophy, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Rule 0. So Commander philosophy, go to the webpage, look it up, but here's the gist of it. Commander is for fun. It's a socially interactive, multiplayer Magic the Gathering format full of wild interactions and epic plays, specifically designed as an alternative to... I can't get past that point enough. I can't emphasize that point enough. Designed as an alternative to tournament Magic.
Yep.
As is fitting for a format in which you choose an avatar to lead your forces into battle, Commander focuses on a resonant experience. Each game is a journey the players share, relying on a social contract in which each player is considerate of the experiences of everyone involved. This promotes player interaction, inter-game variance, a variety of playstyles, and a positive communal atmosphere. At the end of an ideal Commander game, someone will have won, but all participants will have had the opportunity to express themselves through their deck building and game play. Now, this led rise to something called Rule 0 that came out with, I think it's over a year ago. Mm-hmm. And basically, you can read through this the rest of the philosophy document and the official rules. Well, those are the official rules of Commander. Local groups are welcome to modify them as they see fit.
Yep.
If you'd like an exception to these rules, especially in an unfamiliar environment, please get the approval of the other players before the game begins. So if you're used to winning on turn 4 and you sit down to play and you don't talk to people and you win on turn 4 and all of a sudden you have a bunch of people who hate you,
right?
That's specifically your fault, not theirs. Okay? You didn't give them expectations. Now, if they told you that's not really what we're into, Can you tone it down? Do you have a different deck that you can play?
Right.
Can you change the commander in your deck? So that it plays slower, whatever.
Right.
Something of that nature. Take out some of the tutors in it, whatever. It's a conversation you need to have before you play, not during or after.
At that point, yeah, it's too late. Once we're playing Magic, we are playing Magic. But
It's all about talking to the other players and establishing before the game what everybody expects. Get everybody on the same page so everybody can have a good time.
oh, absolutely.
I don't care if you win a game of Commander, as long as I got to do some fun things. As long as I got to be a part of it. And once in a while it's going to happen that I don't get to be a part of it, because even with our nice little easy 3-mana rule, our
mulligan.
Our mulligan that we have, our friendly mulligan, sometimes you just don't draw stuff.
Yeah.
It just happens.
That's the game of Magic. It's variants.
It's a game of Magic. So again, when you're playing Commander, try to think about the other players in the group and try to make sure everybody's having a good time.
Yeah. That Rule Zero conversation is way more important and should happen more often, I believe. Really, like you were talking about, and it's not as much of a thing as it used to be. Maybe the whole, we all flipping over our commanders and, making sure we're prepared, paired up properly at a table, just looking at commanders even times can be like...
Sometimes you can tell a lot by the commanders. Sure.
Right. Like, that deck I played tonight is a little... Like I said, I cast a lot of 3-mana 2/2s. I don't do a whole lot, but, I don't want to play against a Golos and a Joda and even, your Squirrel deck or something. I'm going to do nothing. By the time I've cast my second Pirate, well, I'm dead.
It's a little bit... Commander is a little bit... If you're a role player, and I'm going to compare it to D&D...
Yes.
And all role-playing, the Dungeon Master's goal, a good Dungeon Master, should be in charge of making sure everybody has a good time at that game. Everybody. They're the storyteller. They're the ones that should be making sure everybody has a good time. And so, basically, everybody at a commander table is the Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
They need to be making sure that everybody has a good time.
Everybody is responsible for everybody else's fun. That's why I said I never usually...
Including your own.
Yes. What I said earlier about playing suboptimally at times, I don't like in theory, but at times I've been in many games where it has to happen, or else you're ruining the fun.
I've gotten potted with 3 brand new players, and none of my decks were ready for that, so I have to play suboptimally.
Yeah, and sometimes you just draw the nuts. There's nothing, there's no way around it where it's just like I don't even have to try and. I can, it's all right here.
It's all right there.
So sometimes you just want to make sure everybody's having a good time, and that's, once again, that everybody needs to be on that same page, and that's the most important part of Commander, I think.
All right, let's move along, I think. I read an article this week, and I don't do esports. I don't play digitally. Alan does a little bit. I know some of y'all play. There was an article on... what is this? Hipsters of the Coast by Rich Stein. Should Historic be an esports format? And I think basically he comes down on the negatory side. And I'm going to tell you, from what little I see, I think it seems like it's a good thing. Yeah. Because Historic belongs to Arena.
Yes.
You can't play it in paper. It's not playable on Magic Online.
No,
I don't believe they've made it available there. It probably wouldn't be hard, but I don't think it's available there. So it seems like it would be a good place for it because it's unique. And they were concerned that with the Zendikar Rising Players Tour or whatever was going to be Historic. Yeah. The one that comes right about that time. Yeah. And that, people have to get ready for that or whatever. I just feel like that's probably a good place for us, is doing that.
It's exactly, I have not played Arena in months and months. I won't lie about that. But I still keep up. I read and listen to a lot of content. And from what I hear, Historic, when Historic first started, for anybody else that plays Arena and knows, it was kind of a Wizards had to do it because we were all upset. All our cards were going to rotate. And they're like, oh, we can't just take the cards away or else they're all going to be angry. Here's Historic. You can play them there. That's what Historic started as. Was so we could still play our rotated cards. But then Wizards had a brilliant idea. I'm going to give them big props on this. What if we add things to the format? Now we're getting Amonkhet Remastered. They're going backwards with actual sets, but before that it was just, hey, what if we add these 15 cards? Shake it up. And they've done that multiple times now. And I think that's part of what makes it such a good esports format, is that it stays fresh. It doesn't have to wait for a new set to come out. And esports, from what I can tell, has a very limited attention span. They want things to always be more interesting, and with all the people playing, so when they're able to inject cards whenever they feel and change a meta, I think that keeps it more fresh for viewers or whatever in an esports like.
I see the biggest knock against it is that Magic didn't go with the dusting method that other places use.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to acquire the cards in order to play.
Yeah.
So it might be hard to train for it, to test and play. So I get that.
Yeah.
But I just think that's part of what goes with it. If you're going to grind it, you're going to grind it. So anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. A couple other quick hits here is that Spell Table. I don't know if any of you out there are playing Paper Magic using your phones, your cameras, and whatnot. Spell Table is a great way to do that, from what I hear. I have not used it.
They've partnered with WotC a couple times in the past already. The Command Fest Online, they were using Spell Table, I believe.
Yeah, but they have joined WotC, and we don't know exactly what that means yet.
Right.
Whether WotC has bought them up or they're just doing a partner thing. But Wizards of the Coast is looking for ways for people to play Magic, even the time of COVID.
Yes.
And looks like Spell Table and them have struck some kind of deal. We don't know much about it. We just know that they did.
Yeah.
So we thought we would bring you that information, even though it's a little digital related, and I'm not really into the digital. I'm selling you paper here,
Well, this is for using with paper cards, though.
It is. So
we gotta, especially, it's not as bad here, but there's a lot of places still out there where you can't go to an LGS.
Most places.
Right.
We are rurally located, but when the schools start, I don't know what's happening.
I don't either, and I don't think our luck will hold forever.
Yeah.
But there are places where Spell Table's been very important to people to be able to play Magic.
While we're talking about digital, let's just mention real quick that somebody, I think the wizard, or the professor.
The professor, yeah.
Was maybe the first person that I saw this from, but I also heard it on the Magic Show. Time Spiral Remastered is a domain that WotC has apparently secured several months ago.
Yeah.
We don't know what it means. We don't know why they needed a domain for it.
Yeah.
But it's a thing, so we thought we would share that as well. Is it going to be some other online play? Is it for a set they're making? Might be a good way to get more cards into Arena.
The fact that it's a domain is what really...
That's really odd, why they needed a domain for it.
I know just from following gaming, being pen and paper, cards, video games, copyrights, a lot of these companies will copyright lots of stuff all at once, and then you have to try to figure out whether they're actually going to name something. Like, if Zendikar Rising or something, they may have, copyrighted like 12 different things with Zendikar in them.
Right.
Kind of thing. And I know that people try to track and speculate on what people are doing by the copyrights they place, but I don't know with the domain exactly what the angle they're shooting for is.
Yep, so more to follow, I suppose. We've got, I guess, 3 big things we're going to go over.
Yeah.
Now that we're kind of into the meat of everything here. We already did the Commander thing, so I guess that was kind of a meaty thing. We're going to talk about the state of design. Mark Rosewater has been writing these for over 15 years, 2005. He links them all in the article, so you can check it out on the mothership. Mm-hmm. And every year he goes over all the sets that used to be all the standard sets. Now he says all the sets with new cards. That come in boosters, okay? So he doesn't do Commander.
Right.
Now, I don't think he had much work on the Jumpstart design.
Right.
But he does include Jumpstart besides the 4 standard sets.
Right.
So we're just going to take a quick shot at them and go over just kind of hit the highlights. The highlights of his highlights, all right? Read the article in the mothership if you have more interest. First off, overall Magic design, a lot of Magic was purchased and played.
Yep.
Now, a lot more was played in paper before COVID.
Right.
But A lot of it was bought and played, and people are still buying paper. People are still playing at home. There's still kitchen tops, still local groups that are playing. So a lot was bought and played. There was plenty of design innovation.
Oh, yeah.
So Adventure was a nice design innovation. Mutate was really sweet in Ikoria.
Yep.
And the whole idea for Jumpstart is just gold.
Yeah.
Okay? It's just gold. A simple, fun way. Still supposed to get another shipment of those in. If Bobby, if you're watching, I don't have it yet, but I'm still supposed to be getting some in the next few weeks before Zendikar.
And I don't see it mentioned here, but I'll bring up, if we're talking mechanically, I'll say Escape to fix to other graveyard-related things they've tried to do in the past.
Right.
It was not dredge bad. It was balanced.
And then he also says that booster fun and collector packs were a hit.
Yeah.
Collector packs are a hit, and that booster fun is really rolling into the fact that we have set boosters coming with Zendikar. He doesn't really mention that here, but that's going to make opening a pack much more fun.
Yeah.
So those were overall things. Lessons that they learned.
Yeah.
Balance issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know, and we've reported to you that they were trying to ramp up standard. They were trying to make it more powerful. But they really blew it out of the water, and we had some Broco-Oko things.
Right, and I think the problem was, specifically Simic. The green and the blue cards, they hit a lot of power in that color combination.
Too many bannings.
Right. If all the power that got put into Simic had been spread amongst more of the color pie, I don't think we'd be in the situation that we're in. But when so many of those powerful cards fell in a small part of the color pie, it's easy to jam them all in one deck.
Yeah.
Was kind of the problem.
He says we need to get better at thinking about the ramifications on all the different formats.
You think? It's impossible to do, and I get
it's
that.
It's great to say. It's very honest to admit that.
Right.
But with 20,000 unique cards out there, how do you do that? How do you not make mistakes? You're gonna make mistakes.
You're gonna.
That's why everything but standard has ban lists.
Right.
Or everything has ban lists.
Right.
Including standard. Sorry, my bad.
Right.
Everything has ban lists. If there's something broken, you ban it.
Yep.
Now, obviously, it's bad cards that people went out and got.
Right.
So you don't want that happening much, especially in standard. Older formats just don't get the cards, right?
Right.
And the year could have been more mechanically cohesive.
Yeah, I've heard some other people talk about this here. I believe it's one of the symptoms that I'm afraid we'll see more of since we don't have blocks anymore.
Well, they know it's an issue, not having a block. Before, you'd have the big set in the fall and then two little sets in the winter and the spring that followed up on the mechanics, gave you more.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do is to get mechanics that tie in with a different complete set.
Right.
And so they've done a pretty good job of it, but it's not been 100%. You know?
Yeah.
So they're still learning.
They are. They've had some issues with that, but they're getting better.
So specifically, let's talk a little bit about Throne of Eldraine.
Okay, I just want to say right off the bat, this is probably my favorite set from the last year, even with all the broken cards. It was beautiful, beautiful artwork, cool fairy tale world. I really liked Eldraine. The broken cards, the Oko, was an issue, but the concept of Eldraine I really enjoyed.
It's very good. I think that Ikoria could have gave it a real big run for its money if it didn't have such a short season because of the COVID.
I agree with you. I think Ikoria, I feel like I wish
Ikoria tickles me in all the right places.
I wish Ikoria would have got more story. Other than just the.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, I know, but go ahead. Sorry.
So highlights from Throne of Eldraine is that it had a fairy tale theme, and that was a big top-down hit. Okay. Yep. The adventure mechanic was well loved.
Maybe my favorite mechanic of the last year too.
And the softer tone. So it wasn't all about the world's going to end. Wasn't about we're killing the plane, where everybo's dying, or everything's gonna blow up, or the Phyrexians are invading.
Don't worry, they'll go back and destroy.
We'll get there. So it wasn't all about that.
Right, which it felt like everything had been for a while. But of course, we had just got off War of the Spark and stuff, so we'd really built up to that for a while.
And then what he calls lessons, and I'm terming these hits and misses, but
Right.
lessons, too many elk.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
too many elk. And that's okay. Just too many elk. Too many cards had to be banned once upon a time. Just too much Broco Oko related things.
Oh.
Adamant was forgetful.
Yeah, do you even remember what that does, guys?
I loved Adamant. Adamant gave you a boost when you spent 3 mana of the same color when
Right.
you cast a spell. I loved that, and it was forgetful.
Yep.
It just didn't play enough of a part. There wasn't enough of it.
It didn't feel like any of the cards that had it it was a significant boost on it either. It didn't feel like you really, And then this last point is most definite.
Limited was kind of slow.
It was a lot slow, in my opinion, but yeah.
It was a slow limited, and
I like grindy, though, so I didn't... I think I won pre-release of that. I like the grindy, but it felt grindy.
he specifically cites Witch's Oven, Cauldron Familiar.
Yeah.
That's grindy.
Yeah.
So grindy that Cauldron Familiar got banned in Standard
They banned
just a
the
couple
cat.
of weeks ago.
They banned the cat.
Cat is banned. No cat. Kitty, no. All right, let's move on to Theros,
Yeah.
Beyond Death. So, hits or highlights.
Yeah.
Players really liked going back to Theros,
Yep.
and they liked all the things that came back. So, Theros is a pretty...
Devotion came back.
Devotion
Everybody
came back.
loved that.
Loved that.
Seeing gods
Loved
again.
all that. The gods came back. Now, they also liked the Underworld
Yeah.
and Escape. See, Escape's getting a mention.
Yeah.
So,
Escape
expanding on the world from before, the Underworld specifically, people enjoyed that. And bringing sagas back after debuting in Dominaria was really nice. Theros was a great place for it. And it worked really well.
I heard before we ever even got spoilers, there's a lot of people predicting that we were going to get sagas because it's the enchantment plane plus just all the history, and one of these Greek stories be awesome in that art. And I'm so happy they did because they did look awesome.
I'm guessing we're going to get those in all the returns going forward. Zendikar, I'd be shocked if there weren't sagas in that.
That's fair.
This is
the
our
third turn.
This is like our 12th trip there or something, you know?
So
when we go back to Ravnica, we'll get them in Estrad. I mean, I think
that would.
This is only the second trip.
Yeah.
Well, of course, second trip, but there were fourth set.
Yeah.
For Zendikar, this will be our 3, 4, 5, 6th set.
Yeah.
Because there was 3 in original, and then 2 last time, and then here we go. So yeah, then lessons or misses.
Right.
People miss not getting all the gods, which is hard to do
with just one set.
With one set because they're all mythics.
That's all your mythics for the set.
All your mythics.
15 gods. Well, there's all your mythics.
And I did not like this part. The rest of the Titans were missing.
Yeah.
Supposedly there were 5 Titans.
Yeah.
We only got 2.
I thought there was 3. I thought it had been mentioned, but
Set introduced 2 Titans, Croxa and Uro.
Yeah.
That were in enemy colors. That and the flavor text imply that there were at least 3 more.
Yeah. Okay.
Where were they?
It's the saga Binding of the Titans or whatever only shows 3. I think it shows 3 Titans.
Okay, but even so, there was only 2.
Yeah. Everybody's like, "Where's the missing Titan?" So, but we'll get them when we go back.
And finally, we get to our first mention of the story was underwhelming.
What story?
Look, since they took it off the mothership, I'm going, what story? No, I'm not buying the ebooks, and from what I've heard, most of them have been misses anyway.
Yeah.
I think we talk a little bit more about the story at some point, but not only was it underwhelming, it was very underwhelming because no book was released, not even an ebook for this.
Yeah.
So you had to get it off flavor text and snip it here or there, you know.
Right, and this was kind of a big thing for some people, especially because Elspeth has been dead for 10 years? I don't know how long, but a long time, right?
A long time.
And the return of Elspeth and all this going on, and there was no story to go with it.
We don't really know much about how it happened.
We don't know how she got out of the underworld, really. some kind of breach. Or
Fought her way out.
Yeah.
Got a hold of a god weapon, fought her way out.
That's what we know pretty much.
Boom, done. So moving on to Ikoria. Some highlights. Players like the monster theme.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Monsters like it. Players embraced the higher complexity.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. It went over really well. Complexity worked out fine. Players enjoyed the limited gameplay.
Limited was
We didn't get to
good.
play enough of it.
No.
But
Limited
we
was
did
good.
enjoy it.
Mutate was an awesome limited mechanic, actually, because make games just go. The direction could change the course of a game real quick and limited.
Real fast, yeah. And players fancied the tie-in with Godzilla.
Yeah.
So that was true. So they did tie in with Godzilla. So I'm thinking we might see more stuff like that down the road if they find the opportunity. Not necessarily with Godzilla, but with something, right?
Other Hasbro products, you know?
Probably. So some misses or lessons. Companions.
Yeah.
We can't talk about this without talking about companions. Companions were a miss.
Yeah. That's sad. That's the saddest part about it is that's probably what a lot of people are going to remember Ikoria for a long time is companions.
In his words, the biggest mistake of the year.
Yeah.
They made something that was so environment warping, and not just in one format, but in almost all formats, that they had to errata how the mechanic worked. They'd never done that before.
No.
They changed how the mechanic worked.
The whole
Oh,
mechanic.
it's still in standard and everything. Just, hey, these don't do what we first told you it
It was
done.
barely over a month after the cards came out in paper, right? It wasn't very long before they had to do something.
Right.
The second point I can kind of agree with.
Confusion over what kind of monster set it was.
Yeah,
Godzilla was a tie-in, so, hey, it's just going to be great big things.
No,
Like Rise of the Eldrazi were big, right? No.
it wasn't.
No, Mutate was a thing, which
Mutate
was cool.
It was a cool thing. I especially with the Godzilla and stuff, I would have liked to have seen a few more. Just I want a big. I mean,
Beefy. Why didn't we get
Yeah.
a 1717?
yeah.
out
Why
of the
didn't I
set?
get something that massive for a big
new
Godzilla
big
card?
boy.
Yeah. If it's the monster set, I can agree with that point a lot.
And then unhappiness about the disconnect with the story.
Yeah. What story?
Well, there was a story, but the book contradicted. And I don't know enough about it because I didn't read the book. But what showed on the cards and what it said in the book were two different things. So if you're a true Vorthos and you know all that, I guess share it up in the chat there. But it said different things in the books and the cards. So you didn't even have a cohesive story with a story. Core Set 2021. Players like the terminology changes.
No more
Got
hounds.
rid of the hounds.
Yes.
Bring in the
The
dogs.
dogs.
Let the dogs out.
And mill. Mill is a keyword. It's
27 years
Millstone mills people now.
since we got Millstone, and we can finally officially call it milling somebody.
Yeah. Awesome.
I can't believe how excited I was for this little change. This made me so happy.
Well, because they had seemed so adamant for so long about they weren't going to use mill as a keyword ever. If they were going to keyword it, they were going to find something different.
Maybe the only thing that can make me happier is a legendary squirrel maker in black bordered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Players love the reprints. Great reprints.
Grim Tutor, Ugin, Azusa.
Just keep...
Sad
the hits.
Robarts, Cabbaging
The
Ooze.
hits just keep coming, right?
Containment
Great.
Priest into Modern for the first time?
Yeah. Into standard through mod. Yeah. All right. Players liked Planeswalker vertical cycles and frames. Yes. They liked the vertical cycles and the frames. I don't think that's as big a hit as what he's calling it, but they liked the different frames on Teferi, even though they all look the same to me. Or the different backgrounds, I guess it is.
I don't know. There's like three things that are a slightly different shade of purple or something. I don't know.
Well, let's move along because I'm just tired of Teferi like I was Nicol Bolas, and I want him to hell gone. So, let's talk about how Shrines.
Yes.
Shrines were back. They probably never going back to Kamigawa because it was so poorly received originally.
Right.
But we got Shrines.
We got Shrines.
Shrines are awesome, and those were indeed a hit.
And now since we got 6 of them, it gives you 11 shrines. You can actually run like a shrine deck and even commander. You've got enough there to do something.
We actually know somebody's got one.
Yeah.
All right, misses or lessons. Well, the first one is issues with Teferi.
I've heard this from several people. They thought when they hyped this as the Teferi set, a lot of people had the same feeling that we were going to get a whole cycle like we did with
Mythic,
Chandra.
rare, uncommon.
And we did not. And to be honest, the whole set, it's very hard for me to figure out why they called it a Teferi set. I get that we got a big Teferi Planeswalker. We got his daughter and his wife new legendary cards in it. But other than that, it didn't really seem that Teferi.
That's a Teferi spell. I mean, there were Teferi spells. So, anyway, players expected more mechanical ties to the face of the set. So they wanted more stuff that tied to Teferi.
Right.
Teferi has one Planeswalker card, although it's got a lot of different variants, like 11 or something. Stupid.
It really
a cycle of 5 monocolor legendary creatures thematically tied to him. Daughter, wife.
Yeah.
I don't remember all of them. As do all the monocolor Planeswalkers. And a lot of his players expected more than that.
Yeah.
So, that was a miss.
Yeah.
So we moved to Jumpstart.
Yeah.
Again, there's more coming. I think I saw Bobby in here. There's more coming, man.
Yeah. He was happy to hear.
Players love the concept.
Yeah.
It's
brilliant.
freaking awesome. I haven't even busted mine apart yet. I've got 4 of them open for me to play against people.
Yep. We got 4 at home as well.
And players enjoyed the variety of themes. There were 121 different possibilities.
Yep.
Some of them there were as many as 4 of the commons, as they called them. There were 4 different, with only a little bit of, with a lot of the same cards, but some different.
There were a few hundred different possible packs I think you could pull essentially at that point.
Lessons. There's not enough of it. Yeah. Well, that's a COVID issue.
Yes.
But that's but there is more coming, and as soon as printers open up, it's not a one and done. There's more coming to that first printing, as it were, or whatever, and then there'll be more coming. So it is going to hang around. And the themes that you wanted weren't there. So there were a lot of themes they did that people love, but there's a lot of themes that didn't get made.
Right.
Something we could look at doing, which we didn't do, but we could figure out what would be a Jumpstart theme. What would your Jumpstart theme be? Mine's obviously Squirrels.
Right.
Done. All right. I'd have to make up the 20 cards, but you see what I'm saying. So, and some of the themes were just odd.
Yeah.
Doctor,
some of them led to some really cool special lands, though, I won't deny. Because, like, the book theme or whatever is really weird, but that island looks really cool. So anyway, that wraps up the state of the design for 2020. We're going to move along. We got a couple more bigger things to hit here. I'm going to go over this one. I think this is. I shared it out earlier today. Okay.
Magic debuted 27 years ago yesterday at Gen Con. And one of the people who was there shared out a little remembrance report. It was a report that he made about Gen Con in 1993.
Yep.
And I just thought that I would hit some highlights out of it. Alan may have to entertain you while I skim. I read it earlier today, but I didn't make notes. I'm a horrible note taker, apparently.
Oh, it's all right. It's really cool, though. I mean, it shows some pristine right here, some pristine, like, alpha starter decks, the pictures of what they were selling at Gen Con then, which, don't you wish you could get your hands on one of those now?
So, the cards had already went out a little bit, and they had more coming, but they were trying to scrape up decks just to play against people on the first day because a shipment was coming in on Friday, the next day. They didn't have hardly any. And so they were scrambling to get it. They ended up that they would have about 3,000 decks for sale at Gen Con. Through the whole Gen Con, 3,000 decks. Well, they didn't last longer than, anything.
A few hours, I assume, probably.
Well, the old saying is a fart in a whirlwind.
Right.
But They got those on Friday.
I love this. You can see right there. I can see that part where they were shipped from Seattle. They were shipped by air from Seattle to Indianapolis so they could get them there.
They sold out of what they had on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then had to wait, and they put people on the list and everything. Friday at 10:30, they got their shipment, and they already had a line. And they were playing a bunch of demo games, and they were running these challenges where if you could beat one of their decks, they would give you a pack. And back then there was ante, so you would ante a card from your deck, and they would win that if you lost. But if you won, they were anteing a pack.
Pretty cool.
2 packs.
2 packs.
2 packs. So 2 packs, my bad. 2 packs of alpha. How would you like to have won 2 packs of alpha? That'd have been sweet, right?
God.
Got to remember there was no hadn't been instituted yet.
The game literally was debuting. So.
One of the decks just had swamps, sinkholes, and playgrass. That's it.
Seems right.
I'm going to blow up your lands, and I'm going to play playgrass all day.
Hey.
Yeah.
That seems cool.
The second worst deck was Walk Into This deck, which had no creatures, no direct damage spells, really no offensive capability at all. What it had were counter spells, power sinks, black vices, brain geysers, and psychic venoms in abundance. In effect, the deck caused the opponent to kill himself. If you're not familiar with old cards, go look those up. You really missed out on something. You might call this one of the first kind of control decks.
Yeah.
The third deck was a white weenie deck, and it contained Holy Strength, Banalish Hero, and Pegasus, along with planes. They all banned the Pegasus fly, and they needed so few planes to cast that the challenger was usually quickly overwhelmed by the little buggers. Let's see. And then there was a green deck called the X deck. It had Forest, Land War Elves, Wild Growth, and Soul Rings. So you had a lot of mana hitting the table. Then it had mountains and fireballs and disintegrates, and it just burned them out. Elf Ball.
Yep.
We would call that Elf Ball.
I would call that Elf
yeah.
Ball. And an 8-point fireball on turns 4 through 6.
So you just played mana the first 3 or 4 turns, and then you just 6, 7, 8, you're dead.
Yeah.
And it was over.
I approve.
Let's see. They were still playing on Saturday, but they ran out.
Mm-hmm. You know they went through those quick.
And let's see. They were giving out some prizes, T-shirts. They had a little tournament. Gave away a full display box. Man, would have loved that.
Yeah. 36 packs of alpha. You know the guy that won that still brags about it, right?
So already at this time, they had plans to do Vampire the Masquerade.
Mm-hmm. Which became Jihad.
That was already sold, that they were going to do it. And there was somebody from R. Talisorian, is that right? R. Talisorian signed a letter of intent for a Cyberpunk game. And it was going to be Cyberpunk Deckmaster, but later that became Netrunner.
Yes.
Which came back a few years ago as a deck builder game.
Oh.
As a deck builder game. Not from WotC.
Right.
Somebody else had picked up the license.
I didn't realize Netrunner had come back.
Yeah, it came back as a deck building game.
Yeah.
As a living kind of card game.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just trying to catch the big stuff. I know I lost some people here.
Yeah.
Sorry. Remember that shipment that came into Seattle? Well, a bit less than half of it was already spoken for before we left for Gen Con. On Tuesday, the day before it actually reached our warehouse, it was all sold.
Wow.
And there wouldn't be any more coming until mid-September. This was in August.
Yep.
That would be beta. And then a little bit later, we would get unlimited.
Yep. So pretty much all the alpha that existed was either sold at Gen Con, or from what I can tell from the stories I've heard listening to Drive to Work and other stuff from either Mero or Richard Garfield, it was sold out of essentially the trunk of some WotC employees' cars. They just drive the West Coast.
Peter Atkinson and his wife drove
Yeah.
Gen Con that year, and they stopped at every game store they could and demoed the game.
Yep.
And left stuff.
And I know they did the same thing up and down the West Coast because there was a lot of alpha in California and Washington and stuff. They drove.
But even when he's doing this report, there's already plans for 1,001 Nights, the first expansion, to be coming out in mid-December. And they're just at Gen Con.
Yeah.
And he's already saying that it's not called Arabian Nights. They don't have a name. 1,001 Nights.
Yep.
So it's just kind of interesting. Once in a while, we try to give you a little history magic. Thought some of you might enjoy that. So we were sharing that out. I think the last thing that we're going to yak a little bit about before we close up today is the direction that Magic is going with all this booster fun, the collector boosters, the set boosters, the secret layers, the, gosh, I don't know.
Box toppers. Showcases. And
All these things, I've seen a lot of people lately wanting them to go the sports card route. Don't leave me just because I said that, if you know anything about sports cards. You got to think a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, I made mention, may have been on Rebloggatog, about how Mark Roser talks about you don't just go full bore on something, designer-wise, just because you can.
Right.
You
slow roll it.
You slow roll it. So the biggest creature in Alpha was Force of Nature in 8-8.
Yep.
It took us years to get to where we are now, 16-16. Because they gave us like a 9-9, a 10-10, a 12-12. You know, they stepped it up.
Just like Antiquities, we got a 9-9, and then it wasn't too long for a 10. But yeah, it was slow.
So it took a while. I think this is the way they should go here. Now, what this means, if you're not familiar with the sports card industry, is that we're already in Zendikar Rising. We're going to have a slot in the set booster where you can get an art card. And some of those art cards are going to be stamped in gold with the artist's signature.
Right.
Now, eventually, we'll be getting actual artist cards that are signed, probably one of 50 or one of 100 or one of 10 or something. We may be even getting cards that are signed that way.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the true way for WotC to do this, and I hope that this is the way they go with it, is that we keep having a regular set booster or booster packs to draft or whatever. And then as inserts or in the collector boosters, you have the opportunity to pull these non-game unique items. So it's a unique item. Maybe there's only 10 cards that they got this artist to sign.
Right.
But you can still play the regular one that you pulled out of a pack or that you bought for 50 cents.
Right.
But you can collect these artist signatures. Limited edition, you could number them. They could be gold numbered, gold stamp numbered. There can only be so many of them available.
Right.
And I want the slow roll to it. I don't want next year to be seeing one of 10s. I don't want next year to be going, hey, this card has, I don't know, lead out of the pencil the artist drew the picture with.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would do.
I don't know either.
In baseball, they do jerseys and they do pieces of
bats, dirt from the mound on pitchers.
Crazy things.
Stuff.
I don't know what they would do for the artist stuff. You know, a little palette of paint. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those things are probably coming. I just hope that it takes a while to get there. That's a personal opinion. I don't think it's bad for the game. If you'll notice right now, if you're a player, this is a great time to be a player because of all the different versions that are available. The basic version is the cheapest. If it wasn't for there being 11 different Teferis, you couldn't get the regular Teferi for whatever he costs.
Right.
I don't even know right now. If
no
it
idea.
wasn't for the fact there being 11 of the, what is the Mothra, the lunar moth?
The luminous brood mother.
Yeah. So the most expensive version is about $70. And the only reason I know that is somebody asked me how much the one was in the case. But you can get a regular version, super playable card for, I think, 20 or less.
Yeah.
But if there weren't all those versions and people chasing those, that regular version that we used to have would probably be a $40 card, and the foil would probably be an $80 card.
Yep.
Right now, you can pick up that card for probably less than $20 to just play it. So this goes through the whole set in making it more affordable as a player for you to play, but also giving you the chance to go look for shinies or for an artist or a special treatment that you like, the Godzillas, for example. I just think that's a thing we have to get used to. It's something that's gonna be there, and I don't think it's bad for the game.
No.
As long as they don't become unique in a gameplay sense. As long as I can get my regular Solemn Simulacrum,
right,
or whatever card it is, out of a pack, you can make an artist signed version there's only 10 of, because I could still play this one.
Yep.
It's if they decide to do something where, and I just can't see them doing this.
I can't fathom doing it.
Where there's only 100 of these, that would be wrong.
Right.
That would be wrong. You have anything to add there?
I think we've nailed the week down pretty good so far.
I got everything that's on my paper.
Yep. We'll continue some more Commander conversations as we go on, too, I think, over the next few weeks. I've been listening to some stuff and had some stuff popping up that I've been...
And we've only got, three more weeks to anniversary, or is it a full 4? It's a full 4?
Today's the 20th.
20th, so the 27th. 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Episode 82 is going to be very, very special. You don't want to miss it.
Ooh.
That'll be the 10th anniversary.
That'll be the 10th anniversary.
For the 3 of you still watching it, don't miss it.
Exactly.
Well, I don't got anything else, Alan. If you don't,
I do not.
I think we're ready to do an episode of Reblog and Talk if my voice will hold out.
If not, we can try to do it tomorrow or something. I'll get it done.
Nah. Anyway, we appreciate y'all watching. And come on out to Grove Gamers Guild, where everybody
knows your game.